Hello. This is kind of a new type of video for me, but I hope you'll enjoy it. There have been recent changes in our city. The city of Santa Clarita, the one I live in. I've lived in the city of Santa Clarita my entire life. But recently, when I started working and going to school and having to get around, I didn't have a car. I had to bike everywhere. This was fine for me. I loved it, honestly. Whether it was at midnight after closing at my local supermarket, I just had to get back home and I had to bike. And often I'd be biking down these unprotected bike lanes in the middle of the night, like even around midnight, where there are no streetlights and it's completely dark. To remedy this, I went to city council and did 2 different speeches about bike safety, road infrastructure, and lights, which I thought were turned down after talking to the city manager. But recently, there's been a development on one of our local roads where they added barriers and reflectors to the bike lanes. This was awesome, I thought, and I really enjoyed it. But then again, recently they took them down. And this was very confusing to me. I was like, this is an awesome move in progress that I talked to them about and I made speeches about, and this is awesome. And so I go on Instagram and I go on Reddit, as one does, after not being able to find information online about why they were gone. And a lot of people, surprisingly, just hated them, just despised these little reflective barriers. So in this video, I'm going to look at the arguments why and try to understand their point of view and do the opposite of what my initial reaction was, which was to be angry and call them stupid and have just stupid online arguments, which do nothing. Instead, this is an evaluation video where I'm going to look at all sides and try to accurately and decisively really look at both sides of the situation and understand what's going on. I'm Nico DeSessa, and this is... I don't really have a title. I don't know. I'm excited. So I went on Reddit even, a post for my city's subreddit. I guess we have that. I made a post and I was like, hey, why are these gone? And a lot of people brought up these different arguments for what's wrong with them. And I wanted to look into this because it seemed pretty basic for an idea to me. It's a bike lane. It should be separated from the driving lane. That'll keep bikers safe and even help drivers, I believe. So let's go into each argument. Argument 1, that the reflectors are unsafe to drive around. Now this argument mostly came from new drivers. I'm still a teenager, so a lot of my friends are just starting to drive for the first time, and they said that it was unsafe to have this reflective barrier in the middle of the road. Well, not in the middle, it's off to the side. And this makes sense. This is reasonable. If it had no purpose, or if it was just there in the divider, that'd be kind of reasonable. I guess it's not good to hit stuff or have anything blocking the path of the driver at any times. But these are regulated. They do have reflectors, so you know they're there. It's not like they're dark. But I guess, yeah, a lot of people were hitting them, and they had to replace a lot of them, so there's a lot of money with the upkeep. So there's an issue already. You have to pay extra to have these because people are hitting them because they're dangerous. And, I don't know, they're a few feet tall. I don't know, I'm 6 foot, so they're pretty big. And having them on the road could be distracting, and some new drivers may hit them. These are all reasonable arguments to have. It costs a lot to have these up. Now, if drivers find it difficult to not hit an object that is reflective and not moving, then how am I supposed to expect them to be safe near cyclists who might be wearing all dark colors and are also moving? I'd rather them hit the barrier than the cyclist. And if it's difficult for them to just not drive into a barrier, then how am I supposed to expect cyclists to be safe around those same drivers? Here's the second argument, that the reflectors actually block ambulances. If a crash happens in the middle of the road, the shoulder is blocked by these reflectors. So it may be difficult for an ambulance to get around or past or through any sort of traffic. This is a pretty reasonable explanation. The road with the reflectors on don't see a lot of traffic, but if it were expanded to other roads, I could see this being an issue. However, the same could be argued for one-way streets. There's not enough room for an ambulance to get through if there's a line of cars waiting. So it merely depends on people who are not in the crash to move out of the way. And if a crash blocks the path, that could happen on any road as well. The shoulder is also blocked off by these reflectors. However, the ambulance doesn't always need the shoulder, and any reasonable person would be able to move out of the ambulance's way and make space for them. Argument number 3, that they actually aren't needed at all. See, a lot of people seem to think that there are not a lot of cyclists in our city. And this isn't exactly true, but a lot of the cyclists we have actually stay on our own independent roads called the South Fork Trail. This trail is completely separated from where everyone drives. It goes past our riverbed called the Wash, and it's a completely great way for cyclists to get around. However, this really only applies to cyclists going either far distances or who are doing it for leisure. If anyone is like me and happen to commute with their bike, they're going to find themselves on these streets with no bike protection, no sidewalk, and no streetlights. It's just not a safe place for bikers to be. And maybe you don't see them because it's all pitch black, or it could be confirmation bias where you just don't expect to see a cyclist, so you're not looking for them. There's many reasons why people may think that no cyclists are there. And even in broad daylight, you're not going to see a lot just on the street because only a few people commute using their bikes. But does that mean that we shouldn't spend any money to try and protect them? Like, they're actively helping the world and the environment and building their own strength. So even if you don't see a lot of cyclists around during the day, that doesn't mean that they're not there. A lot of people can still use these paths to get to and from home and work and school. Adding these barriers and protective layers to our infrastructure not only protects the bikers that are already there, but actually makes other people more willing to use bikes and to use this infrastructure that we're spending so much time and money creating. If we expand it to more streets and areas of our city, people will be more likely to actually use the infrastructure we've made, and perhaps Santa Clarita could be one of the leading US cities in bike infrastructure. I mean, we're going down the right path for it, so it's only good to keep expanding it. Now, the 4th and 5th arguments I'm going to smash together, because the 4th one is silly. It was just no one likes them. This is what I expect for Reddit, to be honest. And I can see if this person responded to me right now. The 5th and final argument is that the reflectors are too high up and they are too bright. The solution for them being too bright is just to turn off your high beams or drive a car that doesn't have super bright and high up headlights. I mean, I didn't have this issue while driving past them, and I've only heard it from a few people who drive certain cars. In America, there is a battle between sizes and cars. The idea is that if you have a larger car, you'll be safer in a collision. It's better to be in a Ford F-150 that's raised if you're colliding with a Honda Fit than to be in the Honda Fit. Bigger car equals more safe. Now, if the reflectors were low down to the ground, suddenly these people driving their massive trucks and SUVs and lifted cars won't see them, just like they won't see 12 kids sitting in front of their car. Now, having the reflectors be lower down would mean they're only really seen by people driving lower, smaller, more fuel-efficient cars. And I'd rather them be seen by the giant trucks that are lifted, because if I'm a cyclist, I would want to be seen by those cars. Visibility is already an issue in these large cars, but I think having the reflectors be even taller than they are now would help to make infrastructure bigger the way cars are getting bigger. This could bring safety to cyclists and also pedestrians with raised sidewalks. So in all, this has been my little rant about infrastructure and whatnot. Let me know if you have any arguments for it. I'm not gonna get mad or freak out or call you dumb, because unlike most people on the internet, I don't think that's very plausible to find a solution or to expand my knowledge. So if I'm completely wrong, tell me. I would love to be completely wrong, because that means I can learn more. Thank you very much if you watched this entire thing. Very epic. I'm very happy. Yeah.